one word that would describe Miss Lees would probably be marvelous and fantastic.
I would probably have to say remarkable. She should be Teacher of the Year because she's worked very hard to be a good teacher. She walks us through stuff, and she's just very good with what she does.
Congratulations, Miss Lees. I hope you win State Teacher of the Year.
Fantastic!
My name is Beth Lees, and this is my 13th year of teaching, and I teach at Bennett Russell Elementary School.
You're just too marvelous for words, like glorious, glamorous, and that old standby amorous. It's all so wonderful.
The greatest reward is absolutely seeing the joy of learning in the students that I teach.
Okay, so can poems describe an object? Absolutely. Now, that word, boys and girls, is abuelita. Say it with me. Abuelita. How many of you have ever sat up on grandmother's lap and read a story or heard a story? Okay, so when we already can connect to what the author's writing and what the author's doing, what type of connections are we making? Text to self connection.
Thank you, Mr. Falker. The story is by Patricia Polacco, based on her childhood experiences. It talks about how one teacher made a difference in the life of this child, and until she found that teacher who was willing to take that extra time with her and to teach her how to read, it really just opened a whole new world to her. One of my struggling students said, I can make a connection here, because this reminds me of when I was in 2nd grade and I couldn't read and people made fun of me. Just hearing that, and then he was able to see how she overcame that throughout the book. But it's still, to this day, when I read it to my kids, I still get teary-eyed. I use a lot of active student engagement in my classroom where students partner up. The students each have a job. They're either an active listener or they're actually the one that's responding to the question. And the active listener's role is to listen to what their partner is saying. So then when I ask them to share, they have to share what their partner is saying, and that goes back to having those high expectations. I expect that they're going to be listening and that they're going to be sharing, and we start this from the first week of school.
You're exactly right. Boys and girls, cuentos are stories, and we got that clue because it said she's talking to me about her past.
I like talking with them because it doesn't make me so shy that I have to just keep all my ideas to myself, that I can actually tell them to other people.
Okay, she's pretty serious about it now. Joshua, what did you and your partner discuss?
I'm very structured. I use a lot of explicit instruction because the research says that children, especially those who struggle in the area of reading, they need a lot of explicit instruction. You have those students who may be lost and have experienced that learned helplessness in a whole group setting where they sit back and know someone else is going to always answer the question. But they're forced in that small group setting, when it's one-on-one or when it's in a small group, to share and to open up.
Could I draw a picture to help me solve that problem? Absolutely.
Popping words are words that are better ways to say familiar things. For example, run is a familiar word, but we might say darted or bolted or sprinted. Parents come up to me and say, my child is driving me crazy with these popping words. We don't talk like that at home, but they're wanting to use these words all the time. What wonderful news that is to me as a teacher, because they're making a connection to the learning and they're extending it beyond the learning day. I teach them strategies to encounter these words as they're reading, as they're listening to television, as they're having conversations with people, and they have to use the word and use it correctly in a sentence before they leave every day. Even my special needs students are able to do this. It gives them such an empowerment that they can use the same terms that everyone else in the class can use, and they can use these big words. One of them said, she wrote in her journal to me that she would rather do this than anything. She has become a word gatherer, and I just thought that was so neat that that they really see themselves as word gatherers, and they get excited about learning and excited about encountering a new word. Midway through my freshman year in college, I realized that nothing would make me happy but teaching. It's been the best decision I ever made. I've never looked back. Well, I actually received an email a few weeks ago from a student that I had taught at Oriole Beach. She was a 5th grade student that I had back in 1998. And she just emailed me out of the blue after my name was in the paper, and she said, I just wanted to tell you what a difference you made in my life. That was one of my favorite years in school, in elementary school. And I just remember your kind nature and your calm demeanor. And you
always put a smile on my face. From the honor of Achieving Teacher of the Year, I am sure so many other students were impacted with your natural gift for teaching. Thanks so much for leaving such a lasting impact on me.
What I love most about Miss Lees is that she inspires us to do everything that she probably knows that we would want to do.
I think 20 years from now, they will remember that I made them feel special, that I listened to them, that I loved them. I taught them some things, but most importantly, I made them feel special, and they grew as a student in my classroom.
I'm going to remember that I had a great time. I loved her, and she was just one of the best teachers I've ever had.
Congratulations, Beth. On behalf of Russell Elementary, we are just so proud for you and very excited that you're representing our school district. We think you're just awesome.
The rest of the year became an odyssey of discovery and adventure for the little girl. She learned to love school. I know because that little girl was me, Patricia Polacco. I saw Mr. Falker again some 30 years later at a wedding. I walked up to him and introduced myself. Then I told him who I was and how he had changed my life so many years ago. He hugged me and he asked me what I did for a living. Why, Mr. Falker, I answered. I make books for children. Thank you, Mr. Falker. Thank you. It just shows the power of a teacher.